Robin Graham was born on the 22nd of June, 1952. Growing up in Echo Park, Los Angeles, she lived with her parents, Marvin and Beverly. She was a small girl, around 5 feet 6 inches, weighing 125 pounds, but she had a big personality and an even bigger heart. She was a bright student and graduated from John Marshall High School, and this hard work continued as she began attending Pierce College, as well as working at Pier 1 Imports in Hollywood. Along with balancing work and school, she was in a loving relationship and had a busy social life. On the 14th of November, 1970, Robin left her car at Pier 1 in Ports and got a lift with her boyfriend as she headed for a night out. After a night of laughter and dancing, she got a lift back to the car and set off driving down the Hollywood freeway at around 2 o'clock in the morning. Just minutes into her journey, her car stalled near the Santa Monica Boulevard off-ramp. Seconds after pulling to the side of the road, California Highway Patrol officers came to her aid. They offered to call the stranded Robin a tow truck. However, she politely declined and instead used a phone box to call home. Her sister passed the message on to her parents and they said they would be there as soon as possible. The patrol officers decided to loop around and double-check on her. She was back at her car and told them that she had contacted home and was waiting for her lift. Happy she would soon be off the freeway, the officers carried on driving. Upon their third time of driving past Robin, they saw a light blue Corvette parked behind her car, and she was talking to a man. He was around 5 feet 8 inches in his 20s with bell-bottom trousers and a turtleneck. The patrolman saw the two ride off in his car together and said she appeared to go willingly. Believing she was now safely with her family, they continued on their way. Around half an hour after her car broke down, her family arrived. Her Dodge was locked, and she had gone. Investigators were stumped. Once the car had disappeared into the busy Los Angeles traffic, the chances of finding it again were slim. Initial reports said that Robin had willingly got in the car with the man. However, the officer who made that report was questioned again and said that while he saw them talking, he didn't see them leave together. The California Highway Patrol faced an immediate backlash for their conduct on the night Robin vanished. People were outraged that they had left a teenage girl on the highway, in the company of a strange man in the middle of the night. Even the Los Angeles County Supervisor agreed with the criticism, but the officers in question were determined to have acted in accordance with procedure when dealing with stranded drivers. After the uproar, the policy was changed to ensure that no woman stranded on the highway would be left alone. The disappearance was investigated by the Rampart Division of the LAPD, and alarm bells were ringing for officers. A couple of years before Robin went missing, numerous women were attacked in what would later be dubbed the Good Samaritan attacks. The suspect would follow the same pattern. He would follow their car and begin flashing his headlights. When they pulled over, he would approach them, saying he noticed a problem with the back tires, and when they were off guard, he would attack them. The police told members of the public to be wary of people posing as Good Samaritans, and told them not to pull over if they were signaled to by a stranger. After the attacks, the perpetrator seemingly vanished. The more the police investigated, the more disturbing similarities they found to previously unsolved cases. Around a year before Robin's disappearance, an Israeli-born student named Rose Tashman was driving down the Hollywood freeway when her car got a flat tire. Police found her car abandoned, and her body would later be discovered, strangled and dumped in the Hollywood Hills. A few months after Rose Tashman, another woman, Cindy Lee Mellon, disappeared. She too had a flat tire. Her father said she would not have known how to change one. Colleagues said they had seen her talking with a man who they assumed was her father. After realizing Cindy hadn't been seen, her father drove to the Buenaventura shopping center where she'd worked. The spare tire was on the ground nearby, and her car had the trunk, doors, and glove box open. One of her tires had been slashed with a knife. Cindy Lee Mellon was never seen again. Women in California just kept disappearing, and the police had no real answers. In 1971, Lisa Smith vanished while hitchhiking in Santa Rosa on Hearn Avenue. She was only 17 years old at the time of her disappearance. The following year, Ernestine Torello ended up with a flat tire on the Ventura Freeway. Her body was later found in the Santa Monica Mountains. The police believed that she had been killed by someone who pulled over using the facade of helping her with her tire. Just 5 days after Ernestine Torello was last seen, 20-year-old Jeanette Kamahali was seen hitchhiking in Santa Rosa on Highway 101. A friend of Jeanette was heading to pick her up. Before they could make it to her, she was seen with a white man in his 20s, and like all the other women, was never seen alive again. Mona Jean Gallegos left her friend's house at around 1 a.m. on June 19, 1975. Her car was found abandoned on the San Bernardino Freeway at Santa Anita Avenue at 4:45 that morning. It was locked up with no gas. The police theorized she had gone to a nearby gas station and been offered a lift by someone there. 6 months later, her remains were found in the Riverside Ravine. The Times ran an article by Robert Kitzler which said that detectives believed her disappearance was identical to that of Robin Graham's. There are a few theories surrounding the disappearance of Robin Graham. After news of her disappearance broke, the Los Angeles Times covered the story. This would lead them to their first proper witness. A woman came forward saying that she had stalled on the Hollywood freeway, just like Robin had. She was approached by a man in a Corvette. He claimed to be an off-duty police officer and suggested that she catch a ride with him. After she refused, he quickly sped off into the night. 1 month later, she was able to identify him, a man called Bruce Davis. A look at Bruce Davis's history paints a frightening picture. He had been a high-profile member of the notorious Manson family cult, responsible for a string of infamous murders that sent Los Angeles into a tailspin of fear and still captures the attention of the public all these years later. Although he wasn't involved in the cult's most notorious crime, the Tate LaBianca murders, he was right-hand man to its leader, Charles Manson. Davis was later convicted of 2 murders, both connected to the Manson family. He is also a suspect in several disappearances and unsolved murders in California, including the brutal and frenzied murder of a couple in Silver Lake, not far from Los Angeles. Both victims had been stabbed at least 40 times with ferocity and fury. This potential link to Bruce Davis forced the investigators to examine another frightening possibility, that maybe Robin Graham had fallen victim to the Zodiac Killer. Bruce Davis was one of those suspected of being the notorious unknown criminal. The Zodiac's first known attack was in Northern California in 1968, and he has 5 confirmed victims, but there could be many more. He would strike at random in motiveless and brutal attacks that would leave California paralyzed, not knowing who would be next. It's worth noting that Robin went missing on a full moon, which was one of the signatures of the Zodiac. He would taunt the police with cryptic letters and relish the attention given to him by the media. However close the police thought they were to catching him, he was always one step ahead. This potential link to the Zodiac took the police back to the previously unsolved Good Samaritan attacks. Kathleen Johns was driving to San Francisco with her young child. 8 months before Robin Graham's disappearance, a car came up behind her and began to flash the headlights. After pulling over, a man got out of the car and said that her back wheel was wobbling and offered to fix it for her. Instead, he loosened it, and as she tried to drive away, it completely came off. He offered to take her to a local gas station, and thinking her and her child would be safe, she accepted. He approached the gas station and slowly drove past it. She nervously asked where they were going, and he replied, "Before I kill you, I'm going to throw your baby out the window." He continued driving for an hour and a half, telling her, "You know you're going to die." She managed to escape with her child and hid in a field, but he did not give up easily. He scoured the area with a torch, determined to hunt her down. He only left when he heard the sound of a nearby truck approaching. She managed to flag down a car who drove her to the safety of a police station. As she sat and waited to make her report, she looked up to a poster on the wall. On it was the face of the man who had terrorized her and threatened the life of her and her child. It was a wanted poster for the Zodiac Killer. Robin Graham's parents never lost hope. They remained at the same house with the same phone number, waiting for their beloved daughter to return home. But tragically to date, no trace of Robin Graham has ever been found.